Well, a lot of people have been wondering about that cheek-kissing episode yesterday between the presidents of France and the U.S. Emmanuel Macron, as we know, is on a state visit to Washington. Today, he addressed the U.S. Congress, and he explained how there have been called personal bonds between the two countries throughout history.
In 1778, the French philosopher Voltaire and Benjamin Franklin met in Paris. John Adams tells the story that after they had shaken hands, they embraced each other by hugging one another in their arms and kissing each other's cheeks. It can remind you something.
Yes, well, we're going to dig into that reference right now. Today is more policy, but yesterday was more personal, with both presidents conveying a real sense of bon ami. Everyone's talking about the displays of public affection, from hand-holding to pat on the backs, hugs, kisses. Many see this as signs of a growing U.S.-French alliance, but some are wondering if it is just a show. Well, for more on that, we're joined in the studio by body language expert and behavior expert, Mark Bowden. Now, Mark, let's start with this video of Trump. Really the one that got people sort of worked up here was the picking of the dandruff off the shoulder. So we'll have a look at that, and we'll sort of break that down if you can, because they were speaking, and Trump very decidedly reached over and sort of, who knows what it was, and picked it off the shoulder. Can you read anything into that?
Oh yeah, for sure. So, usually that grooming behavior is about a good bond and a good relationship. Now, in this case, however, the arm reaches over and it goes very close to the neck area here, okay, rather than dusting something off the shoulder. Also, he makes reference to it being dandruff, so essentially something that is illness or disease in some sense. So notice the finger very close to the neck here. It's more of an attack than taking care or grooming the other leader there.
Yeah, now I think of a sign of affection like a dad straightening his son's tie or something. That creates a bond there. But is this, do you think, trying to read into the president's mind, conscious for him to kind of exert a little power over the other man?
Well, we know consciously and unconsciously President Trump can be quite aggressive at times. And I think this is a show of aggression. Yes, it does have that fatherly son attitude. He actually says, we've got to keep you looking good. Right. But even that is demoting the French president. I think this is an attack, not something that's so friendly as people have made out.
Yeah, so we really can read into that. It would be the equivalent of saying, you're wearing that color, it's a little late in the season for that.
Right,
a bit of a
exactly.
put down, right?
It's a bit of a put down, and a physical put down as well, just because of how close the fingers get to the neck area here, rather than the brush off of the shoulder, which is a whole different gesture.
And really something that no one else could see, so small you probably could have let it go, as many would in polite society.
Absolutely. I mean, certainly here, I think if that happened with somebody who we didn't know, we might well brush them aside.
Right.
In this case here, of course, the world's cameras are on them, and it's very difficult for Macron to make that brush aside gesture that I think naturally he'd want to make.
No, he gets him right where he wants him, doesn't he? Okay, well, let's to maybe counter it, or maybe not to counter it as we break this down. All that hand clutching and well beyond a handshake. There were lots of hands raised and dragging him behind him with the hand. What's going on with that? Okay,
well, in the examples where we see much of the media has said there's hand holding. Actually, yeah, I want you to see he's got his wrist there. It's not hand-holding. Trump has grabbed Macron's wrist. The wrist is a very delicate joint. Once you've got control of the wrist, you get great control of the whole of the arm and the body. Again, this is somebody being pulled along in a vulnerable way. It isn't somebody having a pleasant handhold. There are many cultures where two males holding hands in many situations is a friendly, very friendly, collegial gesture. In this case, grabbing the wrist, not so. Again, it's aggressive. It's more of an attack.
So that alpha male behavior. Okay, next up, kissing. Because the French have been known to kiss, men have been known to kiss. There's in Eastern Europe, not the double kiss, the 3 kisses as well. There does seem to be a lot of kissing here. Can we take anything away from that?
Well, of course, yes. It's a phatic gesture, a traditional gesture, a customary gesture in order to kiss in many parts of Europe. In this case here, though, what I want you to see is how actually there isn't any lip pursing so much, and he's got him very close to the president's neck there. Yes, there's a height difference, but understand, again, this is slightly more aggressive on the part of Macron here. And there you get this arm wrestling piece happening. This isn't just a handshake, this is an arm wrestle going on. There he's going in for the kiss again, but again, it's at neck height, not at cheek height. Very aggressive from both of them.
And kind of uncomfortable to watch, too.
Very uncomfortable to watch.
You've watched leaders over the years around the world. How do these two stack up when it comes to the use of body language?
Well, there is something very usual about this is two world leaders jockeying for position. And yes, it is shown in their body language. Trump does say, hey, I love this guy. We can't necessarily take everything that Trump says as honest and the truth. And I think in this particular example, we see a lot of behavior that says he doesn't love him so much.
Okay, Mark Bowden, I'm going to shake your hand and you can rate. How's that? Is it okay handshake?
That's good.
Oh, there you got the hand on top. There you got the ministerial hand on top. I hope you enjoyed the sermon. There you go. Mark Bowden, body language and behavior expert.